but then when they leave, she's back.
Call the meeting to order. We're all present except for Tammy. Item 2, approve the extension of the closing date in the master development agreement between the Enid Economic Development Authority and the Enid BWP LLC. Gerald, is that you?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, the reason that we're asking for this item is the Master Development Agreement talks about the property, the downtown property close, supposed to occur by August 31st or sooner. It hasn't for a variety of reasons that I could talk about here in a moment. However, it is progressing and it is close. And the developer, I've spoken to the developer via email, and he has told me that 60 days from his perspective is more than enough. I believe 60 days is enough from our side, so I don't expect to have to come back and ask for another extension. But I think this one is vital and required because otherwise, per the Master Development Agreement, August 31st would be the end date. Let me just speak about several things that are going to happen and that have already happened. As you know, the 30% plans have already come to the Commission. You guys have approved them. You've seen them. The 100% plans have already been distributed to the city. City staff is reviewing them. City staff has had a few comments. We're working with the architect and the local engineer to resolve those issues. I know the Main Street Design Committee has already looked at this. There was an EFS issue that came up about 2 weeks ago, and it had to do with the blue curve signature Best Western Glow feature that was in the 30% plans was going to be made of aluminum to look like brick. And there was an issue with that with the developer. Per the developer, there were several things. One, something about it might be difficult, or it was going to be difficult to form. There was some potential issues with the interface with the brick, and potentially cost might be an issue. That was an issue for several of you and for the Main Street Design Committee. So the developer, who is, I think, done a wonderful job so far, was committed to ensuring that we build a downtown hotel that makes everybody happy. And so he has worked that out as of earlier this week. It's my understanding that that glow feature is going to be made of brick. And I believe that's been communicated already to the Main Street Design Committee. And it's my understanding that they're in full support, and they'll be here on 9/7. On 9/7, I expect to bring the plans for you guys to consider for approval. So you can clearly see that things are moving along. As you'll remember, with the two previous developers, Lodgewell and Peachtree, we never got this far. We didn't get to closing. We didn't get to plans. We didn't get to financing. This time, third time's a charm, and this is a winner. Dr. Patel is committed. He's from this area. And so probably, do you have any questions or?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If they're going to be here Thursday night, September the 7th, and they go through all the plans, are they ready to sign the development agreement, or do they need more time?
The development agreement's already been signed. The extension, I'm expecting they will sign. Dr. Patel has indicated to me that he has no issue with it. We've already sent it to him. Typically, we need the commission to approve it. And then when we get the signed copy back from him, Mr. Mayor, or we may have you sign the document tonight if it's approved and send him that copy. We'll get that back. We'll be fine. We're still on track. On September 7th, we'll bring the plans. We've asked Dr. Patel if he can be in attendance. I haven't got confirmation on that yet. I know the engineer will be in attendance. The architect, I believe, is from Houston. So as you know, Main Street Design Committee will be here. So there'll be many people here in support of it. We'll be progressing on the 7th. I know we've been working with legal counsel on some remaining documents, particularly the guaranteed hotel occupancy agreement. We have a draft of that. We'll likely be bringing that at the meeting after the 7th, as long as we get agreement from the lawyers and from the developer. That was one of the remaining legal documents to complete. And then Dr. Patel will produce the other things that he's required to produce before we close, which are things like evidence of financing, to get his evidence of financing, he has to, 100% plans have to be completed. He has to have them appraised, and I'm sure there's another long list of things that he's working on. Local financiers are financing them. I've spoken to him. He's done a hotel in town before. He's been financed by them before. There's not going to be any issues with the financing. He may come back to us even before all those conditions are satisfied and ask us to allow him to start early. I don't know if he's going to do that or not, but there was some discussion of that. So I'm fairly confident that we won't be asking you for another extension. We'll just be closing on the property.
The 45-day trigger is still in effect.
45-day trigger is still in effect. Dr. Patel is well aware of that, at the point of closing per the master development agreement, he is supposed to, and I'd have to look at the exact agreement, but it says either break ground, commence construction, something like that within 45 days.
That's
He has told me that the construction period's about 13 to 14 months, and that's got some slack time built into him for weather delays, et cetera. He'll also need to figure out when he wants to open the hotel. He'll figure that out. But I think there's a high likelihood the hotel can get started, if not this calendar year, soon thereafter, and I think it will be built sometime and open in early spring. And that's obviously dependent on everything continuing to progress, but I want to remind everybody, you already know this, those of you who've been here for a while, we're much further than we've been forever. And this whole project started, well, the dream of a downtown hotel, you guys were probably talking about it, Ron, when you were on the commission before, or maybe you weren't, I don't know. But it's been years and years and years.
2011.
Yes. And so very closer than we've ever been. This needs to happen tonight. On the 7th, you'll get a chance to see the plans. I'm expecting and hoping that Dr. Patel is going to be here in attendance, and I've asked him to. Just don't have confirmation. Some of you haven't seen him yet. He's an impressive individual, and I'd like him to be here to answer your questions and look you in the eye and tell you what he's doing. And you've already heard from Brent and ERDA before. Brent's been talking to him quite a bit lately. I think everything is on track from my perspective, but we need to do this because of what was in the legal.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, a couple of questions, actually. One is, why don't we just extend it for 30 days instead of 60 if we're that close to being ready to close?
Because I think, from my perspective, Dr. Patel may want to do that in 30 days. I think it's more prudent to do it in 60 because I don't want to be in a position where I have to come back and ask you for another extension. And I think if I ask you one time and get 60, I'm reasonably confident that we will complete that at that time. So,
well, I mean, of course, my concern about that is I think that that'll probably mean if he sticks to the timetable that we won't see any construction this year.
I can't speak to that. I know what the contract says, and I know that I have spoken to him, and he understands fully, and that's what he has communicated to me that he's really focused on. I know he's building other hotels, and I think he's completed or near completion on one. He's got hotel crews that are ready to move to other projects. This is one of his projects. He's finishing one right now. He's supposed to be building another one in Oklahoma City on 39th Street, or maybe it's Northwest Expressway. I understand the concern about, it seems like we're extending this. We are extending it, but you're extending the agreement. The progress is continuing. We're still on track. It's going to be on the agenda on 9/7.
You indicated, though, there were some other impediments you still have to resolve.
There are a few items. One may be the lodge well, an existing lodge well easement or lease that we've done in the past. The legal strategy that we have had, I was under the impression that we might not need to release that, and I still don't know that we do. If we do, we're going to be taking action in 60 days. We'll be able to resolve that.
What do you mean lease? Did we?
There were several documents. There was a parking easement done for the parking garage. There was a utility easement. There was but there was a ground lease that's been specifically mentioned that may be an issue.
Did we sign the documents, the city of Enid?
We must have, because it's recorded down at the courthouse.
That's what I'm concerned. Yeah, have we got lawyers that can resolve those?
We do.
Well, like I say, this, when? I want, to
Within
me.
60 days.
They- We've been working with this guy now for 6 months, and we still have legal impairments, and, you know, and this thing with Lodgewell goes back for years.
Keep in mind, we never got close to closing before.
Well, how did, if they had access to the land, there must have been a closing. I don't know whether Bill remembers this, but I remember specifically that your predecessor told us that everything was in line. We were really waiting for ground to be broken. And of course it wasn't, but, you know, then, but anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I just want to make sure, once and for all, that we've got everything. And we're not going to, no, I don't want any more surprises.
Me either.
So,
I don't have a problem with the 60 days. I want it to be done so that company can make a profit in the long run. And if it takes another 60 days, so be it. We've been at it for 6 years. I want them to be comfortable and to be able to make a profit.
The extension is not to exceed 60 days, right? Is if everybody's ready in 30 days, you can.
Well, the one that we have now terminates tomorrow. So if we're going to do it and do it
Yeah,
right,
we have
we've got to go 30, we can go 1 day, 30 days, 60 days, whatever. I agree with the 60 days.
Yeah. But if everything is ready in 30 days, do you have to wait 60 days?
No.
The kicker is the day he signs that development agreement, he has 45 days to be shovel ready. The shovel has to be in the ground in 45 days.
When the closing occurs,
Yes,
whatever date that is,
Okay.
because he wants control of the dirt. He has to have control of it.
yeah, I want everybody, you know, to be satisfied that we're going to be ready. And like I say, we've had a lot of people look at this. We've had high-priced attorneys that we've paid significant amounts of money. And I just don't want anything else coming back and say, well, we can't do it because of this. They found something else.
I don't think that's going to happen. Certainly in this case, we're farther than we've ever been. It's taken a lot of effort. I understand the frustration.
Have the lawyers look at everything again. Look at everything again. Make sure
Definitely am having the lawyers look at everything.
Yes.
Anything else?
No.
Over here, anything?
Nope.
Who made the motion? Ben, Ron?
No,
Nope.
Jonathan.
I did the second, yeah.
Speak up loud.
I got the second, Mayor.
Motion by Ben, second by Jonathan. Please cast your vote. Motion carries 7-0. Item 3, we will now adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 4, the Enid Public Transportation Authority special meeting is now in session. Item 4.1, consider a resolution authorizing the acceptance of the agreement between the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, ODOT, and the Enid Public Transportation Authority for public transit revolving funds. Yes.
I can talk about this if you want. This is just an addition to our 5311 funds that we receive. It is required that we turn this in by tomorrow, August 31st. Sorry for the delay, but we did have to wait for a mileage audit to be done. And now that that mileage audit is complete, we were able to follow through with the application and now get it signed and send it in to ODOT.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ron,
Second.
by George. Comments, questions? Please cast your vote.
Got to clear it.
Motion carries 7-0. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Ben,
Second.
second by Jonathan. Please cast your vote.
Oh,
That's me, isn't
I
it?
thought I did that once.
We are adjourned.
All right.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you for joining us for the Enid City Commission meeting. If you have any questions or comments, visit our website at enid.org.